number one. Tired of the ordinary at lunchtime? Why not try something smart to chew on? The Lunchroom on RCI, Monday to Friday, 12:45 to 2 p.m. The Lunchroom, informative, enlightening, provocative, engaging. The Lunchroom on RCI, food for thought. The station that gives you, more lunch.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International for Tuesday, the 16th of September 2025. It's program number 1452 of the Lunchroom. I'm your host, Calix George Jr. In addition to 101.1 FM radio, you can also get us at our website, rcistlucia.com. And we are streaming live on Facebook. You just have to search for the official page of Radio Caribbean International. Please be sure to like and share that link as well with your friends and family. Today, we want to send out some birthday greetings. First, to Mr. Leonard Pierre, happy birthday to you, sir. Hope you're having a wonderful birthday. Also, to Miss Jessica St. Rose, happy birthday to you, Jessica. And we do hope that you're having a fantastic birthday celebration. And also to Miss Irma Frank, happy birthday. Hope you're having a splendid birthday as well. A look back in time on this day. In the year 1795, the British captured Cape Town in South Africa from the Dutch. In the year 1848, on this day, slavery was abolished in all French territories. 1920, on this day, the Wall Street bombing occurred at 12:01, just 1 minute after noon, when a horse-drawn wagon exploded on Wall Street, New York, killing 38 people and injuring 143. And in the year 1963, on this day, the Federation of Malaysia was formed by Malaya, Singapore, and British North Borneo, as well as Sarawak. And in 1997, on this day, Apple Computer Inc. Named co-founder Steve Jobs as interim chief executive officer. We now move on to our dish of the day.
Every bed in our hospitals tells a story of someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's friend. And when that story of care is complete, it's time for the next chapter, home. But too often, discharged patients are left waiting hours, days, weeks, sometimes months, not because they want to stay, but because no one comes. We understand life gets busy, but every extra day they wait means another patient, perhaps in pain, perhaps in crisis, can't get the bed they desperately need. So when the call comes that your loved one is ready, please be ready too. Pick them up, bring them back to the comfort of family, where healing truly continues. Because caring doesn't end at discharge, it continues with you. A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs.
Serving now, the Daily Dish.
And welcome to the Lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International. Now, it's quite unfortunate that the period of political campaigning and debate has been dubbed the silly season. It really should be a very serious time for a country as it considers the performance of the incumbent government, the administration that may be in power at the time, as well as looking at the proposals and the platform that is being put forward by those who at the same time want, of course, to take control of the reins of power in the opposition. Of course, the nature of our system right here in the this former British colony means that we run a first past the post system. It invariably means that we end up with a two-party situation where it's very, very difficult for the likes of independence to come to the fore. and to be able to be actually successful at in the race. And that's because at the end of the day, it's the person who gets the most votes in a particular constituency is the person who ends up being put forward. And invariably, independents, just looking at the history of it here in the case of St. Lucia, independent parties have tended not, or independent persons, as well as third parties in this instance, have tended not to be able to do that well. But we can leave that conversation, of course, for another time. But the silly season, and we are in the throes of it, indeed, and there's so much to sort of catch up on. And we'll see all manner and form of machinations coming to the fore in this debate, because it has, unfortunately, a lot more to do with the logic. It has a lot less to do with people having to be sensible about looking at things on their merits and weighing pros and cons, and a lot more to deal with the matter of emotions and psychology. And we heard maybe a couple of election cycles back the impact that entities such as Cambridge Analytica have had on elections in places around the world, and how they go about with a certain methodology to, in effect, get into the minds of individuals, what triggers them, what they are attracted to, what is appealing to them. And they use those back doors, those gateways, these entry points, to be able to quite often hook that potential voter and send them down the rabbit hole that they in fact want them to go into. And so, of course, it is quite, it's like, as they say these days, it's working the algorithm. And that algorithm is that if they know that, you are a single mother of 3, and they know you like dancing, well, guess what? You're going to start seeing dancing politicians. You're going to start seeing information about children, or they may be trying to appeal to a particular demographic to get within that type of psychology as to what you really might be interested in. And so it means that politics, of course, becomes a lot less blatant. It sometimes becomes a lot more subtle. But sometimes as well, people also try to co-opt. And they co-opt. By co-opting, they look at seeing where are the blocks of people out there who I could perhaps target, and where I would know that my message would get some level of resonance. And so even right now in the United States of America, we've seen how effectively an individual like Donald Trump, who is not particularly religious from as far as anybody can tell in terms of what we've known, and is not necessarily any sort of paragon of virtue, has been able to seemingly co-opt people who are Christian, who are evangelical, who are very ultra-conservative, and they've been able to create messaging that fits into what will attract certain people. So, you've heard the phrase, of course, politicians will go out and they'll start kissing babies because everybody loves babies. And they'll start going to maybe every funeral that they can find to console individuals. And of course, in like manner, we also see quite often how religion is used in terms of the matter of co-opting. Now, an individual who's been doing that for quite a number of election cycles now has been Mr. Guy Joseph. Apparently, in fact, I believe he may even be a minister of religion in a particular church here in St. Lucia. But he has been very consistent over the years in utilizing a particular kind of rhetoric that will appeal to individuals who may have a certain leaning in terms of their spirituality and their leanings. But even more so, a particular kind of individual who may tend to be superstitious. And we've seen the rise, of course, of how superstition drives a lot of decision making sometimes. People, you hear certain things. You hear about certain fears that individuals have. For example, in the case of St. Lucia, we have seen, and in the Caribbean, we've seen how, for example, people or any association with Haiti has become some association with voodoo. And we've seen how voodoo has been labeled as a black magic, or we've seen it as being labeled as something that is evil. We've seen it being labeled as something that is negative, that is anti-religion, anti-Christian. And so we've seen that. And so therefore, by extension, we quite often see anybody who might be Haitian or from Haiti in that light. And this is quite often very dangerous, of course, when we create these types of catch-all positions on individuals. And we've of course seen, as a result of the push towards making people afraid, the idea of the unknown becomes very, very much popular. And so quite often when politicians want to be able to scare a particular demographic, they will in fact come and say, this is something that is the other side is part of this, and they're using certain types of things. And so, of course, we've seen from Mr. Guy Joseph lots and lots of narratives come out over the years about blood sacrifices and about voodoo and about evil forces and evil spirits. And of course, they will tell you that, you don't understand. These things are at work, and they're working through these forces. Very, very similar, of course, types of narratives that come out right now from Mr. Donald Trump and his supporters to label and to cast an image on people on the other side. And so in the case of Mr. Joseph, he has gone, of course, right to that in this campaign. Whereas in the past, I suppose, many statements were not necessarily captured. The programs were not all broadcast on live on social media, and the record would not always be available. You may have to have been there to have heard it yourself, as in years gone by. This time, it's very much being caught out in the open. And let's take a listen to some very shocking statements again about this entire matter of feeding into superstition by Mr. Guy Joseph.
You want to talk about sex? You see these nasty politics you all want to play? You see these dirty lies you all want to spread? I am demanding that you all stop it immediately. You all delete the false messages that you all have posted, and you all begin to play clean campaigning.
A few moments later.
You want to talk about sex? The homosexual orgies that are taking place in the St. Lucia Labour Party. You see, Guy Joseph looks like somebody who is swift, as somebody say, who is hungry for women. You want to talk about homosexuals and lesbians in sex orgies and rituals that are practiced by the Labour Party with virgin blood to win elections. You want to talk about politicians who make bomb? The pastors and the priests, you all know what's going on. The bloodshed in this country is not just criminal activity, it's payment for the rituals of the St. Lucia Labour Party. It is voodoo practices, it is rituals, and blood must flow in this country. Evil is taking over this land. So I know when I'm around, your voodoo in Haiti does not work on Guy Joseph. Because Labour Party is a devilish party. I don't come on political platforms and tell lies about nobody. Because there are consequences to telling lies about people.
Sorry about that little clip there. But yes, quite a lot said in that statement from Mr. Guy Joseph. Quite a lot. Speaking about the issue of, and it's a mixed bag, of course, of things. Sacrifices. I mean, we're talking about blood sacrifices. We're talking about prostitution, talking about payment for the rituals of a political party, voodoo practices, talking about evil being all over the land. Voodoo in Haiti will not work on him. Casting his opponent as a devilish party. I mean, this type of rhetoric, yes, it is 2025, people. And we are, in fact, hearing it on in the Huskins, on the campaign trail today, that still, making these sort of aspersions that are so far flung. I don't even know, how you can easily just come out and make these accusations. But this is exactly what he is doing, and he's doing it because he knows that he is trying to hit a chord with people who have superstitions. And let's say there are people, I mean, superstition has nothing to do with political parties. I think there are people on all sides who are probably superstitious, right? And who have a certain level of superstition. And just likewise, you also have on all sides too. You have some people who are Christian. You have some people who may be agnostic. You may have some people who are atheists. In fact, I just heard somebody calling in on a program just today and indicating that he was atheist, but he was speaking about the 1,000-year plan of Alan Shastney and how visionary he was. Interesting point of view when you think about it, that you have atheists who are supporting all sides. You have, I suspect, persons of different sexual orientations on both sides of the political sphere, and so I'm not sure what to make of this melee that has been put forward by Mr. Joseph, except to say that I don't really think it fits in to the kind of discourse that we should be having about the serious nature of politics right now in 2025. And that, I think, is the bigger challenge that we have to deal with. It's not to say that we should not be thinking about the importance of having a moral compass, that we certainly do want to ensure that our leaders have values, that they are certainly grounded, and they certainly do share good values. Because we can also say that sometimes societies have bad values. And like I said, in dealing with the matter of superstition, it's a very worrying thing. I mean, for example, and I'm just giving an example of superstition that is held by some people. They think that the Labour Party can only win elections in an odd year. You've heard this one before. Labour Party wins elections in odd years, and the United Workers' Party, I suppose, wins elections in even years. Now, of course, for those of you, of course, who know a bit of the political history of St. Lucia would know that obviously does not make very much sense. Because back in 1987, for example, the United Workers' Party, that's an odd number, and the United Workers' Party won 2 elections in that year, in 1987. And of course, if you go even further back into the history of politics in St. Lucia, you would know that the Labour Party won an election in 1954, which is an even number. So I mean, but you get these types of theories that people create, to try to make sense of what is going on. And unfortunately, they are, of course, just that, superstition. People reach false conclusions and they make false connections that are not really based on real logic, but it is how they have been able to perceive the world. And of course, in societies quite often where you may very well have highly superstitious people, things like what Mr. Joseph is saying may have some resonance, talking about rituals and voodoo and evil and all of that. So he's, of course, playing to a particular demographic, right, who he figures will react towards what he actually wants. And of course, let's hope that, of course, as a society, we're a little bit beyond that, of course, and it's no longer the era of Bolom and Laja Bless and going to the Gade and Obia and that sort of thing, that we are a little bit more advanced as a politically minded and politically aware electorate. That's our dish of the day. And of course, when we come back, we'll take in our weather break and then head to the phone lines.
This has been The Daily Dish.
Every bed in our hospitals tells a story of someone's mother, someone's brother, someone's friend. And when that story of care is complete, it's time for the next chapter, home. But too often, discharged patients are left waiting hours, days, weeks, sometimes months, not because they want to stay, but because no one comes. We understand life gets busy, but every extra day they wait means another patient, perhaps in pain, perhaps in crisis, can't get the bed they desperately need. So when the call comes that your loved one is ready, please be ready too. Pick them up, bring them back to the comfort of family, where healing truly continues. Because caring doesn't end at discharge, it continues with you. A message from the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs.
It's now time for your weather report, brought to you by Island Style.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home. Really? Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with these tile stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up. What are you looking for? Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle. Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my #1 store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous tiles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for. That sounds perfect. I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation. I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and View Fort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
This is Radio Caribbean International. It's now time for the weather news.
And the forecast for St. Lucia valid for the next 24 hours. Winds will be blowing from between the east at 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour. Weather fair to partly cloudy with brief showers. Forecast for the Lesser Antilles: partly cloudy to cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms over the Leeward and the northern Windward Islands. Elsewhere, fair to partly cloudy with a few showers. The tropical weather outlook: moist and unstable conditions associated with the tropical wave will affect the Lesser Antilles during the forecast period. This wave is moving westward near 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour. Showers and thunderstorms associated with a broad low pressure area located about midway between the Windward Islands and the coast of south of West Africa, is becoming better organized, and a tropical depression or storm is likely to form in the next day or two as the system moves west northwestward or northwestward at 10 miles per hour or 15 miles per hour over the central tropical Atlantic. A tropical wave over the far eastern tropical Atlantic is moving westward near 15 miles per hour or 24 kilometers per hour. Some slow development of the system is possible over the next few days. And that is your weather report, brought to you by Island Style.
This has been RCI's Weather News. For more information, call the Weather Hotline at 454-3452. RCI 101 number 1.
Girl, I've been so stressed searching for the perfect tiles to complete my home. Really? Yeah, it's always the same white, beige, and gray tiles with these tile stores. Like they're all buying from the same place. You're the design expert. Help me, please. I'm fed up.
What are you looking for?
Something different. Something that says Caribbean beauty and suits my personality. Something vibrant and classy with a little razzle dazzle.
Okay, Ms. Razzle Dazzle, I know just the place. Island Style Tile and Bath, they're my number one store for everything tile. And with their new In Living Color collection, you'll find the most gorgeous styles to give you that splash of Caribbean flair you're looking for.
That sounds perfect.
I'll even take you myself and throw in a free design consultation.
I'll never say no to that, sis. I can't afford you anyway.
Visit our Island Style showrooms in Castries, Rodney Bay, and View Fort, or call 450-452 or 453 Tile. We'll help bring your vision to life in living color.
And welcome back to the lunchroom here at Radio Caribbean International, with about 22 minutes to go before the hour of 2 o'clock. And of course, we're going to head to the phone lines to take in some views and to find out what's on your plate. The number to do so is 452-3046. Good afternoon and welcome to the lunchroom. What's on your plate today?
Good afternoon, Sir Calix George Jr.
How are you doing, sir? Very good, thank you.
How is Sir Calix Sr.?
He is very good, very blessed indeed.
And your family, Sir Calix George Jr.
He is good, thank you. They are all good.
They are all good.
Yes,
right, good,
indeed.
Good stuff. I listened to your, what do you call it?
Dish of the day?
And, Calix, are you aware of the politics of the 80s and so on? You know?
The politics of the 80s? Not very well. Not very well.
The 70s and 80s?
Well, I only from what I've heard about it, yes, but not first-hand knowledge per se.
No, but so this kind of thing is nothing new, you know, in politics.
Yes.
Because, you know, there was a time that every elections, I think, John Compton, he wasn't Sir John at the time, used to fly over to Haiti, you know.
Oh, really? Okay.
In the time of Duvaliers.
I see. Okay.
Doc Duvalier.
He was a friend of the Duvaliers.
He was a friend of the Duvaliers.
Ah, okay.
So, I listened.
The irony.
And, our history, we're so short on that we making a big thing of everything that.
And caller, you know that as a fact, eh?
Eh?
You know that as a fact?
Of course, you could ask your father about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you could ask your father about that, guys. You think I'll just mislead people like that?
I'm just making sure.
Of course.
It's just very interesting that is the case.
The party used to make that a big thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That he used to go to Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he could claim is to do other business.
Of course.
But you know what would people used to associate it with? Because by that time, Papa Doc was demonized and seen as this voodoo dictator.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
It's one interpretation of these visits to Haiti.
Right.
Especially when it's around election time. And all these things going around, people bad mouthing each other. I mean, I remember with Sir John, he used to refer to all Labour Party. He said, tout Labour c'est un violé. You know what that means?
All Labours are violent?
No.
Violé?
Rapists.
Okay.
Violé means to rape.
To rape, okay.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Get the history and the language, my brother. The culture.
I'm getting there. Okay.
No, you're not getting there because you seem to be hooked on today's politics and you seem to be quite oblivious of yesterday's,
I wouldn't say that, but I just was not aware of that particular aspect of it.
50, 100, maybe if it was 100 years ago, you would know about it.
Maybe so.
You're wrong.
Right.
But,
well, I think it's again when you speak about those things, it's a lot of it is the question is where would
you are aware of how Sir John was being accused of being a pedophile for a number of years. I mean.
Yes, I'm aware of that. Yes.
In fact, you could get articles.
Right, those things were written about. Yes, exactly. Those things were written about. But I was coming to say that I never read about that aspect about trips to Haiti. I mean, I'm not saying that.
All right.
So but it's interesting that you're raising it, though. I never was.
You have your father there. Your father is a resource.
Well, people don't necessarily share every detail. Like I said, that detail is an interesting one.
But you could share with him what he's while he's there, especially. While he was in the thick of things. That's the most important part, that you must get from him, because he was a politician. Your father run election. Your father try and start a party.
Well, I was around then. I know that. The Citizens Democratic Party, although he didn't actually run.
He didn't run.
No. But, right, so that was 1995.
He realized elective politics not his thing.
Well, I'm not sure that's what it was, but...
well, no, I will. You're not sure, but I feel sure about that.
Okay, well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's our opinion. Your opinion, my opinion, but not necessarily... Not necessarily his opinion.
Kind of George wouldn't... I mean, no, he wasn't... Yeah. Anyway, they used to accuse the gentleman of being a pedophile and all kind of thing. So...
Well, and that says a lot, because he was continuously re-elected. So despite what you're saying about accusations of that nature, accusations regarding...
Well, that's what I'm showing you.
Regarding Haiti and what have you.
These things had no currency. And no, I didn't hear exactly what Mr. Joseph was accused of being, or, alleged to be.
Right. Of course, well, I'm not going to repeat that, but it's out there. But I mean, obviously it's not.
It wouldn't be smart to do that. Don't repeat that. But you see, he lashed back in his form, in his way.
Right, certainly. But whether he has been accused or not, this has been what he has consistently been talking about, and that's the point I was making. That every election that I've been following since 2011, Mr. Joseph comes with a very similar line of attack, right? Where he takes on the persona more of perhaps a minister of religion than necessarily a candidate.
Sort of approach.
Right. And he delves into this this world of a battle between...
He's a man of God coming to destroy the evil.
A battle between good and evil, exactly, right? And he's
on the good side.
He's on the good side, and he demonizes the other side, and he literally calls them demons and devilish, and that they engage in evil, and he uses all of that.
But what I'm saying, there are mechanisms in law, if people accuse you of something that you find, I mean, you have an option of taking them to court, no?
I suppose I don't. I mean, he's not specific to an individual. He just uses some generalities when he makes some of these statements.
But if he finds it's affecting him so, in that kind of way, he could have asked his lawyers to look into what was said.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, the thing about that is that on the time of the hustings there, as the election getting closer.
Yeah, it's almost a pointless undertaking, so to speak.
Yes,
yeah.
Because the wheels of justice grind so slowly that you might find yourself elections come and go a long time.
Yeah, maybe by elections in 2035 they might be finally determined.
Yeah. So what you do is you hit back as hard as you can in a way that you feel you'll get gain some currency, some capital. So I feel that's what the gentleman is doing, and don't be naive and say people don't buy into it. A lot of people buy into it.
Oh no, I'm not saying that at all. I think
because you see, modern politics is not.
No.
Sometimes you feel,
I believe he's using it because he believes that there are enough people who are superstitious enough. And like I said, superstition runs, across all political boundaries. They're all sides. You have people who are superstitious, right? So they'll buy into...
No, I mean, society-wise.
Yes.
Because even you take a singer like Ampin, he delves in that kind of thing, Shadow. I don't know if you listen to the body of work of Shadow.
Not really, no.
The baseman from hell. We're talking about things, there are songs like Pay the Devil, the people who making,
right.
they put in above him and we're making him suffer that he can't make. They'll have to pay the devil. And when he in hell, he waiting for them to come down there. Dealing with that kind of,
So that means he's in hell too.
Then again, I say,
I see.
Do we condemn this kind of thing as just, dealing with the occult or whatever?
I mean, some...
it has to do with our religion, too.
It does, but I think, too, some of it is also almost comedic.
I'm talking about African tradition, eh?
Yes. But I feel sometimes he's also pandering to a certain level of comedic entertainment value that people want to get out of politics, there are people who enjoy the peacock the same way they go to Calypso tents to hear the Calypsonians throwing peacock.
Part of that whole the presentation.
Yes. And it's ironic, because
ad hominem kind of comedy,
It's ironic because you quite often hear people condemning politicians in parliament and this is not parliamentary behavior and why don't we raise the standard of politics and whatnot. But at the same time, they also want to hear they enjoy the back and forth, eh?
The peacock.
They enjoy the peacock, yes.
Yeah. That's part of it, man.
So
it is what it is, but
it certainly it certainly is. But I think
a lot of people calling for the change of conduct. Some there are things that could be done that could, but it have to do with reform. A lot of constitutional reform as regard to the constitution, but the people don't hold this whole constitution reform thing. It's not prioritized.
No.
It's not something of priority from our population.
No.
That is a fact. So you could flog that as however you want.
Right.
It's you can't generate that kind of thing. It's low on the agenda of people. People are more looking at things like crime and cost of living and you know what I'm saying, and these sort of things.
Yes.
Salaries, wages, and all these kind of things. So I don't know. So
yeah. It's an interesting point that you're making too, because when you think about how long it's been right now since I suspect we've been speaking about constitutional reform since we've had this constitution in 1979.
It just looks like an exercise in wastage of
and unfortunately,
money and
yes.
Because it seems like nothing frugal will come out of that.
Yeah. And I feel
we should abandon trying to see the need for it, because if it doesn't happen, that means we become stagnant until something like somebody like Trump come up.
And I think in fairness to all political parties, I think the Labour Party needs to, as the party that has had the majorities to actually change the constitution, I think they need to take some greater responsibility in this matter. Because I think, especially as a party that tends to, be the one that is seen to be more enlightened and wants to be reformist, and I think in too many instances there have been opportunities, and there's been a certain fear that
if they win the next elections with some sort of
a significant majority, yes,
significant majority,
they
should definitely flag it this time.
Yes.
This time around, the first it was difficult because so much things you had to
put right and
right to bring normalcy back, and things. So I think,
in fact, I would say that the legislative agenda, the reform agenda, is so critical, and if all of these things, you've got to do those changes very early in your election, your term.
And we'll see all this ugliness appearing in our politics over and over, and this inhuman and malicious self-interest being, promulgated in our politics. Unless we look at governance from, an evolving sort of, that's why there's always need for reform.
Yes.
The only constant thing in life is change,
Yes.
We can't remain on the same level. Anyway, Mr.
Thanks very much for that contribution, caller. Much appreciated. And, of course, the number to call in to tell us what's on your plate, it is 4523046. Again, 4523046. And you also have the option of calling in via our WhatsApp number, 724-0008. Let's go to the phone lines to take in another call. Good afternoon and welcome to the lunchroom. How are you doing, sir?
Not too bad.
Wonderful.
Now, I'll tell you what you see people talking about larger bless, l'esprit, and all those things. That is Greek mythology. Is white people put that in we. That is Greek mythology. And they will tell you, go there is black magic and there is this, there is that and the other. But it's lie because they didn't want the slaves to run away. Some of the slaves used to run away. And the slave to hell, that is tricks. That is not something to link it with Africa. But those things, that is Greek mythology. That to do with Africa. Or like Bolom and those things there. White people have a lot of ice in them. And that come out from the white man.
Well, I mean, we've had, there's superstition across all races and cultures. But I take your point that certainly the use of religion as a controlling element has certainly been there for quite some time. And for those who are minded to research a lot of stuff, even Christianity has Greek influence in some respects as well. The world that that Jesus grew up in was influenced by the Greeks for quite some time, even before the Roman conquest.
Yeah.
So certainly, I mean, but we do know that there will be the use of religion to try to influence political power, political decisions. That's been the norm. We've heard about the idea of separating church and state, but in the case of politics, we still, of course, see it quite often feeding into what exists out there. And I mean, that I suppose is something that we'll have to continue to deal with.
Mr. King said something. Somebody put that to him one day, and he said, "I know it exists, but I don't believe in that." Yeah, that's plain. He gave it plain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to talk about is the election.
Okay.
I think the last election, Labour Party had a very low poll.
You thought there was a very low turnout for the Labour Party?
And I will like probably something to make it compulsory that people have to come out and vote. Some country, that's how they do it.
Australia has a compulsory voter requirement. Yes, you've got to go out to vote.
Compulsory. Because if you're sick, you cannot come. Okay, you can come, but you're not sick. Whatever party in power gives you now, you take it. And when to come to go and vote, you stay at your home. You don't vote because one vote can do a lot. One vote can put somebody in power.
That's very true. That is very true. When you think about it, caller, 17 people can win well, you're not even 17. It could even be less than that. You're right. It could be one.
This year in Jamaica, the poll was very low as well.
That's correct. I think 39%. But it was low as well the time before that too. Eh? So they've been seeing some relatively low polls consistently in Jamaica, and that's not a good thing. Definitely not a good thing.
Yeah, that's not good at all. And some people, they tell you plain, I won't vote because the last election we have, a lot of people didn't want to vote because of they said they would vote Chasney. Neither they wouldn't vote Labour.
Yeah, well, some people tell you that they really aren't minded by either political party, by either leader, and so therefore they don't go out and cast their ballot. At the same time, I mean, it's a hard argument for some people to say, well, the better of two evils. That argument does not necessarily work for some people. They just seem to think that, hey, it's not going to make a difference in my life, and so therefore, and we have that belief sometimes. But I think,
and hear it. My mother was conservative. Okay. My father was conservative. I was born a conservative. So I won't vote Labour.
Right, you got that too.
But if Labour come back and said, I give him this and I give him that, they all go for it. Okay.
The other question too: should you vote if you believe there is a risk that one individual, one party, if they in fact get into power, you may not like the other side. Let's just say, for example, you may not like one particular individual or one party. But you're kind of neutral as to whether they'll really make a big difference or not. But if you believe that there is in fact a risk that a particular individual will be bad for the country, then is it your duty? Should it not be your duty to go out and vote against that individual?
Not to vote for them.
Right? So, your duty not to vote for them, yes, but should it also not be your duty to go out to vote to ensure that they don't?
To vote,
yeah, so that I think is another major issue that I think the electorate needs to look at too. I mean, so you may end up
right now. The voice of the nation is the party in power right now is doing everything good for the country.
Well, I'm not sure that
they're doing every good thing for the country, I want it to be, I said it on your program before, and I'll say it again, I want it to be a whitewash.
Okay, caller. All right. You want a whitewash?
Mr. George.
By that you mean that you want 17 not. Okay, caller. Well, we've heard about that issue and we've heard people come out and say, I think back in the 2006 general election, after a very surprising loss by the Kenny Anthony administration, you heard people saying, well, I voted for a strong opposition, or I voted because I wanted an opposition to be present. Now, I mean, it's a very, very interesting dynamic, because at the end of the day, you only have one vote. You only have one vote. And there is certainly the importance of having some level of opposition. There's no doubt about that. And especially maybe in a society where you have weak civil society institutions, the expectation is that you do need to have a voice that keeps your governing administration in check. That is very important, or gives sensible advice that may be contrary to the groupthink that might be existing within the governing side. But there's also that risk that even in voting, quote unquote, for a strong opposition, you may end up getting that opposition becoming the ruling party. So and I think if we were to believe some people, like as I said, and the narrative that was being said within that time in 2006, you saw that. And so it's a very interesting dynamic when it comes to voting, because at the end of it all, you only have one vote to cast. And that vote represents the interest of an individual who is going to become the prime minister, as well as the rep that you, in fact, are casting your ballot for, as well as a broader political party and political team that you also, by extension, supporting. So, again, it comes back to the whole idea of the need for maybe some level of electoral reform where people get a bit more choice, a bit more segmentalization in terms of your decisions, maybe voting for a prime minister, voting for a local rep, voting for a party, whatever the case may be. But it would be nice, I think, so that we could get to that point where you've got a bit more of a choice, a bit more of options when it comes to your voting rights. Maybe that too is one of the things that certainly we need to be voting for in an upcoming general election. But that's our program for today, and we do hope that you can join us again tomorrow, Wednesday, God willing, for another program of the Lunchroom on Radio Caribbean International. I'm your host, Alex George Jr., saying goodbye.